Hello, and welcome back to Infinite Jeff. I'm Jeff. I'm reading Infinite Jest. What is Infinite Jest? It's a book. It's a book by David Foster Wallace. It was a national bestseller, and it has a foreword by David Eggers. This edition does, anyway. Do you want to know what the New York Times apparently said about Infinite Jest, this book that I'm reading one page at a time, one day at a time? Uproarious. Not hilarious. Not, really funny, guys. No, fucking roarious. Infinite Jest shows off Wallace as one of the big talents of his generation. A writer of virtuosic, I can normally say that word. Talents who can seemingly do anything. I want to make a joke like, can't fucking live because he's dead, but A, that's terrible. A, it's a terrible sentiment, but B, that I would need to work on the joke. Yeah. But anyway, this is page 48 of Infinite Jest. And here we go. More or less hopeless as an extra institutional functioning unit, but that, on the upside, science could at least give his existence some sort of meaning by studying him very carefully to help learn how schizophrenia manifested itself in the human body's brain. That, in other words, with the aid of cutting-edge positron emission topography, or PET, technology, since supplanted wholly by invasive digitals, Oren hears the developmental psychology graduate student mutter to herself, watching rapt over her cup, unaware that Oren's paralytically awake. They could scan and study how different parts of poor old Fenton's dysfunctional brain emitted positrons in a whole different topography than your average hale and hearty, non-delusional, God-fearing Albertan's brain. Advancing science by injecting test subject Fenton here, with a special blood-brain barrier-penetrating radioactive dye, and then sticking him in the rotating body-sized receptacle of a PET scanner. On the viewer, it's an enormous gray metal machine that looks like something co-designed by James Cameron and Fritz Lang. And now, have a look at this Fenton fellow's eyes as he starts to get the gist of what the voiceover's saying. In a terse, old public TV cut, they now showed subject Fenton in 5-point canvas restraints, whipping his copper-haired head from side to side as guys in minute green surgical masks and caps inject him with radioactive fluids through a turkey baster-sized syringe. Then good old Fenton's eyes bugging out in total unforeseen horror as he's rolled towards the huge gray PET device and slid like an unrisen loaf into the thing's open maw until only his decay-colored sneakers are in view, and the body-sized receptacle rotates the test subject counterclockwise with brutal speed, so that the old sneakers point up and then left and then down and then right and then up faster and faster. The machine blurps and tweets, not even coming close to covering Fenton's entombed howls, as his worst delusional fears come true in digital stereo, and you could hear the last surviving bits of his functional dye-permeated mind being screamed out of him for all time, as the viewer digitally superimposed an image of Fenton's ember-red and neutron-blue brain in the lower right corner, where interlaces time/temp functions usually appear, and the brisk voiceover gave capsule histories of the first paranoid schizophrenic, and then PET, with Oren laying there slit-eyed, wet, and neurologic with AM dread, wishing the subject would put her own clothes and sharp jewelry on, and take the rest of her Toblerone out of the freezer and go, so he could go to the bathroom and get yesterday's asphyxiated roaches into an EWD dumpster before the dumpsters are filled for the day, and decide what kind of expensive present to mail the subject's kid. And then the matter of the dead bird, out of nowhere. And then the news of pressure from the AZ Cardinal administration to cooperate with some sort of insipid-type personality profile series of interviews with some profiler from Moment magazine, with personal backgroundish questions to be answered in some blandly sincere team PR way. The Onyx, and it's a hyphen. And that was page 48 of Infinite Jest on Infinite Jeff. I love you. Sexy internet people, all of you. Good night.